So it has officially come to this where we're in a world that to live in, you need to make a thing called money. And to get that money, you need to work a job by trading your life, your hours that you're alive to get this thing called money so you can live. You would think that this system would be set up in a way that everyone can do it, but it's not. Even with a college degree, it doesn't guarantee you anything. And so, in this video, we have why Gen Z is facing a job market apocalypse. I mean, it was always difficult to get a job, especially a job that could pay the bills and give you extra money to save. But now with AI, all the jobs seem to be going away. So let's see. I mean, it's not just Gen Z, it's everyone right now. But Gen Z and the generation, I think, after them, they're the ones that are in their 20s going into the world, and now they're having to deal with this. I mean, even millennials right now, they're dealing with this too. And Gen X, everyone. So yeah, let's get into this video.
In 2026, 75% of all resumes and job applications are reviewed and rejected automatically by AI software.
There is a growing disconnect in today's economy that we need to address.
Sorry, real quick. Yeah, I saw something like that where they replaced the job of a person who reviews applications and hires, and they just put it into AI and set the AI to pick out applications that have specific things like years of experience. So like you just said, the majority of applications don't even make it to a real person.
On paper, the job market looks stable, yet for the youngest generation of workers, the reality is a complete structural breakdown. As of early 2026, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York reports that the underemployment rate for recent college graduates has surged to 42.5%, its highest level since the 2020 COVID lockdowns. Furthermore, data from major career platforms shows that over 35% of all entry-level job postings now explicitly require at least 3 years of professional experience. We are moving away from a model where firms invest in training toward one where they expect immediately productive assets.
And that was always a thing, even before AI, where they required experience. And that's the joke, right? Where, oh, I have no experience, but I need a job to get experience. And yeah, but even now, and it's understandable from a business owner standpoint where you just want the best people and then they make you money and they develop good things. You don't want to deal with someone fresh out of college and they don't know what they're doing. So I understand that, but it's up to the government or somebody to set a system to where these people can get jobs. I think internships are bullshit. It's just working for free. They shouldn't have to do internships.
Instead of developing talent, the modern economy now externalizes the cost of training, demanding that entry-level candidates arrive with expert-level skills to generate an immediate return on investment. In this video, we're going to analyze the drivers behind this Gen Z job apocalypse. We'll look at the data to see why the traditional path to a middle-class career is being systematically dismantled.
You try being Gen Z and try getting a job, see how long it takes you. My generation is entering the most cooked job market of all time. It's so bad that for the first time, the new grad unemployment rate is higher than the unemployment rate overall.
People who lose their words mid-sentence, it's not ADHD, it's untrained.
To understand the gravity
I mean, the whole system's messed up. It's not even just America, it's the whole world, and that's by design. If you just know, you know, but your country's a failure if you have a low birth rates, negative birth rates to where there's more people dying than you giving birth. Your population will eventually go extinct. And the people living in that country who are alive can't even pay for necessities with their jobs. That's a failed society. And America has been this for a while. It's been difficult to make a living wage. No one's having kids. Yeah. And being alive, being expensive contributes to no one having kids because they can't afford it.
of this shift, we have to look at the long-term trend of de-skilling the entry-level workforce. Historically, a college degree was viewed by employers as a signal of raw potential. You were hired because you were capable of being trained. The company expected to invest in your development. However, since the late 1990s and accelerating after the 2008 financial crisis, the economic burden of professional training has shifted from the employer to the employee. This has led to a massive spike in credential inflation. Roles that previously only required a high school diploma now demand a bachelor's degree as a baseline, even as the real-world value of those roles has diminished. Modern hiring is no longer a human.
And bachelor's degree, it's most of the world, you guys, if you're watching this from America, a lot of people in other parts of the world, the lowest education they have is a university degree. It was only in America that mindset of, oh, well, you shouldn't need a bachelor's degree. That's like the lowest requirement in all other countries. Not all, but a lot. Like in Europe, Asia. I think in China, like most people, like in the 90 percentile range, most of them have at least a bachelor's degree. But even now, I mean, it's just a piece of paper. We all know what they teach you in school is fake. And unless it's like an actual, like you're in school for specific, like engineering, doctor, if you're going for some broad thing like psychology, it's just bullshit. And yeah, like what I was teaching in my job field, they needed a specific position where they were teaching a specific thing that I knew, but I couldn't teach it because I didn't have a degree just of anything. So they gave that job to a girl who didn't know anything about what they needed her to teach, but she just had a degree in fashion. And that all that mattered is that she had that degree in fashion, so she could teach this specific thing that these students needed for their exam, even though she knew nothing about that thing, even though I did, but she had that degree. Degree is just another social construct for most fields, not like for doctors, engineers, but for most things, a degree that is just another Ponzi scheme business to get people to pump money into a university for just bullshit, and they get nothing out of it. No other parts of the world where you'll find university degrees that cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Human-centric evaluation of potential. Most mid to large-scale firms now utilize applicant tracking systems, ATS, configured with hard filters. If a resume does not meet a predefined years of experience threshold, it is programmatically discarded before a human recruiter ever reviews it. This has created a profound competency gap. Because companies are increasingly unwilling to subsidize the first 2 years of a worker's learning curve, they've started filling junior roles with overqualified candidates who have been displaced from mid-level positions. This doesn't just raise the bar, it effectively removes the bottom rung of the career ladder, forcing recent graduates into the gig economy, or low-wage service work that offers almost no path for professional advancement. One of the most overlooked factors in the current job crisis is the documented distortion of guest worker programs. While these programs were designed to supplement the U.S. workforce with specialized talent, recent federal data reveals they are increasingly being used to displace entry-level domestic graduates. In March 2026, the U.S. Department of Labor issued a major proposed rule to overhaul H-1B wage levels. The reason? The department explicitly stated that the current system has been, quote, deliberately exploited to replace, rather than supplement, U.S. workers with lower-paid, lower-skilled labor. The data back.
Yeah, the H-1B visa thing, how they import immigrants basically to come do these jobs that Americans should be doing, because it started, if you know the joke, like back in the 2000s in South Park, like they took our jobs. That used to be mainly about low skilled work, just like hard labor jobs that no one wants to do, like on the farm. But now it's incredible. Now it's coming into actually high skilled jobs that require degrees, more white collar program jobs. And so, yeah, so if you know, now they take people from India and China and they bring them in and they pay them less than what they would pay Americans. Like my dad, he used to work for a solar panel company where they make solar panels, and all the engineers for these solar panels, they just basically hired people from India to come in. And he told me that they have these Indians from India as engineers at his company because they could pay them a lot less than a normal American engineer. It should be illegal. Again, there were rules in like the 50s, 60s America where the government was for the people and they made laws to protect the people, because it would be very easy to make laws to let this not happen. Like if you saw how Elon Musk crashed out about people pushing back against the H-1B visas think that's what it's called, H-1B, whatever. Yeah, it should be illegal. And it's we know now that the government's not for the people. The government is for displacing the middle class, making them the lower class, and making the elite even higher than before. And yeah, because again, this could be very easily fixed, but no, this is all according to plan. It's to get everyone replaced basically by foreigners and make everyone poorer. Because they know, the elite know that these immigrants who are just happy to be in America will accept anything, and they don't have to deal with the Karens of America.
Backing this up is stark. The DOL found that on average, the wages offered to visa workers were a staggering $10,191 lower than the standard market rate for similarly classified jobs. A study by the Economic Policy Institute revealed an even more troubling trend. The top 30 H-1B employers implemented roughly 85,000 layoffs in a single year, while simultaneously filing for over 34,000 new H-1B visas.
Dang.
This creates what experts call a legal experience wall.
All right, hang on. So employers using the H-1B visa system, so it's to replace the workers, not supplement them. So the top 30 H-1B employers laid off 85,000 workers in 2022, but in early 2023 hired 34,000 H-1B workers. So they got rid of 85,000 Americans and replaced them with 34,000 Indians, basically.
Creates what experts call a legal experience wall. By listing junior roles that require hyper-specific niche experience that a domestic grad couldn't possibly have, companies can technically claim they couldn't find a qualified American. This allows them to bypass local talent in favor of visa-sponsored workers who are often paid 20% to 40% less than their domestic peers.
And that was like a thing too, I think I remember Elon Musk saying, is that, well, America just, they don't have the brains for it. We have to hire overseas where people are smarter. No, they get a lot of they get coding slop from India. And a perfect example of this, if you don't believe me, Windows, what you use on your computer, Windows 11. Why is Windows 11 a mess? Because they have AI coding and they have Indians coding. Mess. There was even a video game in development, I think from Ubisoft, the people who make Assassin's Creed, if you guys don't know. And they were developing a game in India. They ended up canning that entire game because it was just too much of a mess with the coding and everything. That they had to scrap the entire project of that game, and it was almost done too. And they gave it over to one of the studios in Europe, and they were like, "We can't save this. It's just a mess. The coding, everything. We can't save this. They messed it up completely." So they'll give lies like this. These corporations saying, "Oh, it's just to supplement us." No. "Oh, it's we don't have the talent in our own country." No. They did this with Microsoft, was buying all, because Microsoft will buy all these companies, and they had to go to court for being a monopoly, and Microsoft said, "No, don't worry. When we're buying all these gaming companies, we're not gonna, it's not for a monopoly. We won't raise our Game Pass price." So the Game Pass they had is the subscription for their game service, and they said, "We won't raise it. Don't worry." But once they bought Activision, all these major gaming studios, then they raised the price of Game Pass, and all these games are on Game Pass now. It was basically a monopoly thing, and they just straight up lied.
In late 2025, the government launched Project Firewall, a multi-agency federal initiative specifically designed to investigate this abuse. It is a formal recognition that the entry-level market hasn't just become more competitive, it has been structurally manipulated to favor the bottom line over the development of the next generation of American professionals. Then we have the most immediate threat, artificial intelligence. There is a common narrative that AI will only augment jobs, but for the entry-level market, the reality is much more binary. A recent study by MIT using the Iceberg Index found that AI can already technically automate roughly 12% of the total labor market tasks. While that sounds small, those tasks are heavily concentrated in the junior tier: data processing, basic research, initial coding drafts, and administrative coordination. By the end of 2027, nearly 47% of companies expect to reduce or entirely eliminate their entry-level hiring because AI tools can handle the output of a junior employee for a fraction of the cost.
And that's what they were predicting in late 2025. They said give it less than 2 years. Less than 2 years, and like most jobs in America, like white collar jobs, are gonna be capiche. And then blue collar jobs, you have automation for that. Yeah, this is all setting up for basically you can't make money. And that's what the government wants. They want you desperate and not making money so then they can push you into the next phase of their plan.
The CEO of Anthropic has predicted that 50% of entry-level white-collar roles could be disrupted within the next few years. The danger here is the pipeline collapse. If a company uses AI to do the work of 5 junior analysts today, they save money this quarter. But in 5 years, when they need a senior analyst, they will have no one internally who understands the foundational work because no one was ever hired to learn it. We are trading our long-term institutional knowledge for short-term digital efficiency. So, where does this leave the professional landscape?
I will say, though, there are a lot of bullshit jobs, right? Because there's this girl I was dating. She made, where I live in Southeast Asia, she was making over $3,000 a month. They were paying her rent. She worked for Unilever, so they sell like Dove soap, facial moisturizers, skincare, all that stuff, right? She was like a marketing manager. Dude, all she did was go to Microsoft PowerPoint and just make a few slides that they're going to show at some conference, or make up a plan of advertising like, oh, we're going to put a billboard at the mall of some woman with a facial cream and her face is going to be glowing white because in this part of the world they want really white skin. So all she would do is just make a PowerPoint slide with some Korean woman with a white face with the product, and then just make it pretty, and people see it and go, oh, that cream can make my face white. It was the most basic thing. And I would see her only work like 2 hours a day on this. Like work on that PowerPoint for like 1 or 2 hours, have a 30-minute Zoom meeting, and then she was done. And I'm like, they pay you for this? I will say a lot of jobs out there are bullcrap. And those jobs where these people make a lot of money just looking at some emails, they'll be replaced. And I mean, I can't find those jobs. I don't know how people are getting these jobs 10 years ago, these easy jobs, sit in an office and do nothing, but they're going to be gone. I mean, they already are gone.
Traditional progression from graduate to entry-level to mid-career is no longer a functioning economic model. The implications are quantifiable. Economists at the National Bureau of Economic Research refer to this as economic scarring. Graduates who enter a depressed market earn significantly less for up to 15 years compared to those who enter during growth. We are approaching a massive institutional knowledge deficit. According to a global Oracle study, 72% of business leaders admit the sheer volume of data and their lack of trust in data has stopped them from making any decision, and 70% confess they would prefer to just have a robot make their decisions for them. Research from Harvard Business Review warns that by automating the grunt work of junior roles, the research, the data cleaning, the basic coding, companies are stripping away the formative discomfort required to build expertise. You cannot have a senior architect who never learned how to lay a brick. By removing the bottom rung, corporations are effectively liquidating their future leadership to save on short-term costs. The data suggests we are at a tipping point. A nation that fails to integrate its youth into the professional economy is reducing its long-term GDP potential. The question we have to ask ourselves is, what does a society look like when the primary mechanism for career entry is permanently severed? I want to hear your perspective on this. Have you encountered this experience wall in your own career search? Tell me what you think in the comments below.
Want more videos like this?
Well, yeah, there's going to be something happening soon because, I mean, at least in America, the whole job market, the whole economy in America is a Ponzi scheme anyway. Like, the money, the companies, it's not real. And I don't know, something's going to be happening soon. And because I don't know about you guys, but when you see people out there living, traveling and stuff, it's like, how do you make money? Like, because yeah, like if you go online trying to find a good job, even with a degree, it's like there's nothing there. I don't know. And other parts of the world, you guys, like where I live, like people live with their parents and they only move out when they get married. They don't move out and live on their own. And if they do, the rent they pay, at least where I live, is like under $50 a month. Yeah, again, I don't live in America, so. All right, well, I'll see you guys later. Comment down below if you have any opinions on this, if you disagree, and I'll see you guys next time.